So our industry right now is spending 80% of the time as well as the resources in developing something what contributes 20% to our business. In other words, to the non-critical applications, we use AI a lot. Really, just imagine the future of tomorrow where we can use AI for all safety critical applications, such as autonomous train, interlocking, autonomous train operation, and protection. So future is now, and you guys also witness on this show, there's a lot of talks about AI. So everyone talks about AI, and that was not the case just 2 years ago, right? So this is super exciting time for us, especially us in the AI business. So how we can change this? So how we can really shift AI from the non-safety critical applications into the safety critical applications. And now it's a time for pictures. So first of all, building the trust internally within our Alstom processes, people, and as well as the methodology, okay? So we're building the trust by providing the solutions that our experts internally can use and love, okay? The second one are all of you guys, so our customers, which expect from us to have the solutions which are on the same level or better than a human. And whatever we do, we are not really trying to replace the people, we're trying to give them a new tool to become better and more efficient in work. And finally, the AI goes beyond our industry. So also we need to make sure that the regulations, the government bodies as well, are following what we're doing and making sure that whatever we do doesn't go south. So that is reality right now. So right, if you look at just this picture, right, this is only example on a few governmental bodies around the world which are taking the regulations of the AI on the next level. Canada, the USA, Australia, China, and recently, I guess you guys are all aware of the EU AI Act, which puts some additional conditions on us having the business related with the AI. So, guys, what does it mean, trust? Yet another picture, right? So for us, trust means that whenever we develop a solution, we can provide the valid data. So we need to make sure that our results are following the certain specifications which are put up front. The next one is you need to make sure that whatever we deliver must be reliable as well as robust on whatever you throw at the algorithm. All right? We're guys living in a very challenging situation. There is a lot of security threats, there is a lot of changes in our environment, and we need to make sure that our algorithms are adaptable, and whatever you throw at them, right, will provide you still with safe and resilient results. At the end of the day, that's what I touched at the very beginning, building trust. We started with building trust and explaining, first of all, how our algorithms are coming up with the specific results. So that is super important. But also making sure that, our results tell the right story for you guys as the users. Fairness is, of course, you guys all aware of the different biases in the data due to different reasons, but for us in our industry goes the next level because you guys know that our industry is very reliable. So we're moving the people and goods from point A to point B very, very well. So there is not so many catastrophic, events which can be great for me as a data scientist, right? So we need to make sure that when we deal with the biases, we need to understand which use cases we're not taking into consideration. And finally, AI is really innovation. But at the end, we need to make sure that whatever we develop is safe. So it's not going to, make a harm on the people as well as on the goods. So another pictures, come on, selfies. This is the example, how and where Alstom is using data science and AI. So we started this journey a long time ago, a decade ago, where we understand that making sure, trying to figure out when specific component is going to break would give us a great advantage. Thus, we developed something what we call the predictive health maintenance, And we develop it right now for almost every single subsystem on the train. If you move on board, we are using Trustworthy AI technologies such as the computer vision to understand if we have the clear doors, as well as we are, making sure that we are detecting the number of people at the station, the number of people on board, right? As well as if any of the lost luggages are, left at the on board at the terminal station. Finally, our AI is running in something what we call the train tracer in a health hub. So our solutions that you can guys be able to see in the back, where we are reliably collecting the data as well as running the analytics on the top of it to understand what the problem is in the system. If you move on, pictures, good, to another that is the infrastructure as well as the signaling. We're using the existing data, existing video from the CCTV cameras, for example, to understand the crowdiness on the platforms, as well as support the people with the limited mobility to find their ways to basically be seated properly on the train. Energy analytics, everyone talks about energy nowadays. We are trying to, and we know that rail is the most efficient way of moving the people from point A to point B. We're going the next level. So we're also trying to understand where and how we can save more energy on our devices. And then finally, when you go down to the infrastructure, predictive health maintenance for the point machines, for the track circuits, is something what we do every single day. So I'm going to deep dive on two different use cases. There's just, this is not, just a disclaimer, this is not the full picture and the full portfolio, what we do in Alstom in terms of the data science and AI, so please visit us later on and talk to me. So personal story, when they moved me to a city, I started enjoying metro. And metro, one day I experienced something what they call the emergency brakes. So that means that the train just stopped in the middle of the tunnel. And I'm claustrophobic, so it was not really a pleasant time for me. This is really not the reason why we developed this solution, but we work with our radio experts to understand how we can put AI basically to reason why there is a problem on the radio communication between the train and the ground. Okay, so we develop a solution based on AI, which right now help, first of all, maintainers not to go remote, underground, whatever, right, to check if there is a physical problem. They can do everything remotely. We also reduce by 80% the number of emergency brakes, and also we reduce the number of whining calls between the CEOs, right? So if he is happy, we're happy too. The next one is log analytics. So what is that? If you guys ever look at the log files from Apache web server, from any of the, right, it's terrible. So no one wants to read that. It's terrible. Even the guys who developed that don't read it, okay? So what we did is, we basically developed a human-centric algorithm which understands, first of all, that something is wrong in a signaling. There is a specific event that we detect, but at the same time, we understand the reasons for that event to happen. Okay? We improve efficiency of our troubleshooting by 8x. So just imagine, right? So right now, having one person using the tool is basically saving their time, tremendously. So it's great to be a data scientist and AI expert nowadays, right? Doing the AI, it's great, it's spotlight, everything is perfect. So I would do that every single day. But in reality, that's